Hello everybody, my name is Sean. I'm here in Shanghai, China during the coronavirus, and people ask me a lot, how do you keep yourself busy? What are you doing every single day during all of this? And I do find that to be quite a challenging question to answer, right? Because every day kind of bleeds into the next, and as each day passes, you wonder, did this happen yesterday? Did it happen the next day? Did it happen 3 days ago? Everything just bleeds together, and you're often just kind of in a state of blah. So instead of trying to explain everything to you, I'm going to show you a little slice of life. This is one day in my life here in quarantine. I wake up fairly early. Before I would sleep in, but now that doesn't even really feel productive to me. I could sleep all day if I wanted to. I have nothing else to do, but the idea of doing that doesn't feel nice. I wake up, and after I wake up, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, and then I play video games. I play Fortnite for maybe an hour, hour and a half to 2 hours at the most. You can't really play too long here. Once 10 or 11 o'clock hit, the internet gets really, really slow, and the game becomes unplayable. I'm not sure why that happens, but from 8 to 9 or from 8 to 10, 8 to 9:30, the game is really smooth and playable, and then as soon as 10 o'clock hits, you're wasting your time trying to play. Today I had a delivery come. It was my water. I drink about 3 to 4 of these bottles of water a day. I had to go to the front gate of the housing compound to get the delivery. So people aren't allowed to come into the compound anymore, so all deliveries have to get dropped off at the front gate. Personally, I really like it that way. It makes me feel really safe knowing that just not anybody that wants to can come into the compound, right? It keeps us a little bit separated and a little bit safer, and I believe all the communities in Shanghai have that rule, and it's good. Whenever I do leave the house, I make sure to put on my mask. I believe that masks are mandatory, but you do often see people not wearing them. I think that's totally crazy about that. To not wear your mask is just ludicrous, but to each his own. Some people are more risky than others. I also wear gloves. I don't know if those actually help out at all, but to me it just makes me feel safer. If anybody was sick and they touched something, I don't want to touch it with my bare hands. I have gloves that I wear, and that makes me feel a lot better. As soon as I come home, I use a disinfectant spray to clean the gloves and my mask. It's a high alcohol concentrated liquid, and I spray that and everything, and then I leave that outside for a few minutes to dry, and then I bring those back in. Supposedly it's supposed to kill the virus, but whenever I use it to clean inside the house, it kind of makes me a little bit nauseous because the smell is just so strong. So whenever I do use it, I keep the windows open or the door open, and I also, if I'm spraying it on things like my keys or my gloves or my mask, I make sure to put those outside to dry for a few minutes. I'll spend a good amount of time each day reading. Reading really helps me keep my mind sharp and stops me from getting a bit stir-crazy. It's really easy to get stir-crazy here. I don't leave my house. I don't do anything. What I do is all done in the same room that I'm sitting in right now and talking to you. And I don't have any human interaction throughout the day. I live alone, right? I don't have children with me. I don't have a girlfriend or a wife living with me. I don't have roommates living with me, or friends that live with me, or family that live with me, right? So most days go by and I won't have spoken any real words to a real human at all that day. And it gets isolating. It's quite lonely, especially knowing that there's no real light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know when this is going to end. So I could say that there's plenty of times throughout the day that I just want to go outside. I want to go do something, or I want to go call up my friends and go get a pint somewhere. But you can't do that. And I'm totally on board. I'm not complaining, right? I'm not. I'm totally on board with the isolation because I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to get other people sick, and I don't want other people to get me sick. So I get it. You stay at home. You find ways to keep yourself occupied. That's what I do. I read and find other ways to occupy my time in a mentally challenging or healthy way. At the end of the day, I have two big options. I can sit in bed and sleep all day and then go to the couch and watch TV all day and play video games all day and eat junk food. Or I can try to make this time as productive as possible, which is something that I do enjoy and I have started to do. I spend a lot of time focusing on my projects. I have multiple social media platforms that I make content for, and every day I get to actively make content now, which has never been the case before. Every day I can make something new, and now I'm talking about big projects, which is fun. I can work on my writing, I can write stories, I can, create more engaging content for my social media platforms, and that's great for me. This whole thing kind of feels like some weird, remote working situation where I work in a place, like in the Antarctic, right? That's what it feels like. I'm working in the Antarctic. I can't go out or do anything. There's nothing to go do, but I'm able to do things that I want to do within the compound that I live in, and more specifically, not even really outside the house, but inside the house, I can do what I want to. Cooking is another great way to kill some time. I was cooking my whole life, and so now during this period where I have really all the time in the world, I get to cook a lot of great food, and that's always exciting for me. You can do whatever. If I want to make something that takes 4 hours, 6 hours to make, I have the time to do that, and that feels nice because now I get to dabble with some recipes that I probably wouldn't have tried doing outside of this, time period. Sometimes when I am cooking, though, I do need to leave the house. There's certain things that, I might not find on the delivery apps. So once again, I'll put on my gloves, I'll put my mask on, I'll drive down to the market. Today was the second time that I had been to the market since all of this happened. And, just like before, you can't always find everything you need at one shop here, so you gotta bounce around to a couple, and, by the time I went to shop 2, I found everything I needed, and, hurried on home. I don't like being out far too long. I just get what I need and hurry on back. It was the same the last time I went to the market as well. With my house being so small, I feel like if I just walk across one room and walk across to the other, I'll have a mess, I'll just leave a mess in my wake. It's really a very, very tiny apartment. I think it's like maybe a total of 30 square meters. So when I'm at home, I do spend a lot of time cleaning. That's one with a sickness out there. I mean, why not just clean all the time? I disinfect everything and I clean it with cleaning solutions, and that's another way to keep myself occupied. I clean maybe once or twice a day, 3 times a day at most, I think, and yeah. Overall, everything's okay. I have enough activities to do here at my house to keep me occupied and keep my brain going, and enough books to read as well. So the days do go by, and they actually go by faster now than before, which is kind of wild. You'd think that these days would just drag on, and they're going by quick. It just feels like yesterday I returned to China, and last week, it's been a couple weeks now that I've been back, and so I'm not too worried. I do feel safe. I think the Shanghai government's doing a really good job of keeping everybody safe, and yeah, I'm just ready for it to end. But I'm probably gonna end up missing this whole period when I have to go back to work every single day. But for now, I'm safe, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.